tough times have come in Europe, they don't want to go to war over Ukraine, nor are they eager to increase defense spending and NATO contributions. And now they have to deal with economic beatings. Trump kept his promise, and on April 9th, the second part of the previously announced tariffs came into effect. EU countries were hit with a 20% levy, and a day later, they were given a reprieve. But Brussels was already quite scared and cornered. They howled and snapped back.
We are currently in the early stages of discussion because the U.S. views tariffs not as a tactical move, but as corrective measures. We are fully prepared to sit at the negotiating table when our American partners are ready. However, we will not wait indefinitely. Until we see tangible progress, we will work in three directions: protecting our interests with countermeasures, diversifying trade based on new agreements, and curbing harmful deviations.
Yes, Brussels clearly took a courage pill. Or perhaps they looked at China's example, which entered the trade war fully prepared. The EU prepared a whole package of countermeasures worth about $23 billion. It included key goods: meat, wine, clothing, grains, household appliances, and even toilet paper. Nothing sacred. The European Commission eventually proposed a 50% tariff on bourbon. But then Trump threatened a 200% counter tariff on European alcohol. Such a blow was below the belt for Italy and France. If you look at the structure of French exports to the U.S., for example, alcohol, wine, and spirits, you'll see it's the second largest export category. It's a really large volume sold every year in the States. If tariffs were imposed, it would be painful. It seems the EU doesn't know what it wants. They threaten countermeasures that will be implemented almost tomorrow, and then again and again. Then they're ready to negotiate, and recently they even proposed to nullify all mutual tariffs.
Indeed, we proposed 0-for-0 tariffs on industrial goods, as we have successfully done with many other trading partners, because Europe is always ready for a beneficial deal, and we keep it under control. But we are also ready to take countermeasures and protect our interests.
And it's about time to start protecting those interests, because the White House leader clearly indicated that such an offer from the EU doesn't interest him. Something more substantial is needed. The EU has been tough for many years. It was created to inflict real damage on the United States in trade. That's the reason for which it was created. We pay for their military protection, and they cheat us in trade. It's not a good combination. Now everything has changed, everything is reversed, and the European Union treats us very poorly. They don't take our cars like Japan in this sense. They don't take our agricultural products. They practically take nothing. And the politician proposed his version of the deal. Now Washington demands Europe increase purchases of American LNG, as is known, very expensive. As Trump himself noted, he could recoup $350 billion of trade deficit in just a week from the supplies. Well, what can I say? It's their own fault for refusing Russian energy resources and daring to snap back at the Americans.
In recent years, the European Union has had to face a number of difficult situations, and the current one in trade once again proves that EU institutions are not ready to handle difficulties. This was clear when it came to migration, the pandemic, and the war in Ukraine, and even before the customs conflict between the US and the EU, the European Commission under von der Leyen made a huge mistake.
This mistake, which could be fatal, started with the automotive industry. The US is probably the biggest market for European car manufacturers. For a long time, the EU considered it normal to impose a 10% tariff on American cars, while in the States, the tariff was 4 times lower. Now Washington demands 25%. For German companies, this is a disaster.
European car manufacturers need to try to mitigate the damage by using as many flexible measures as possible. In the short term, this will be very difficult. This means they will have to raise prices on what they sell in the US. Partially, they will forego margins, and in the long term, it will be about relocating production to the United States.
And that's exactly what the White House owner is aiming for. Attracting production to his country's territory is a priority, since the lack of domestic factories has turned the American market into a consumer of exclusively imported goods. It turns out that Trump, albeit not quite correctly, is trying to fix what his predecessors messed up, living large but on credit. However, not everyone in the US is happy with the new economic front. A Democratic senator started a mini-revolution and called for Congress to cancel the state of emergency declared by Trump, thereby nullifying his decision on import tariffs. And even among allies, there was a Brutus.
All these countries are alarmed, kissing my behind, and desperately want to make a deal with me. Please, please, sir, we beg you, I'll do anything, literally anything. And suddenly I hear some renegade Republican pompously declaring, I think Congress should negotiate. I beg you, you can't negotiate like I can. If Congress takes over negotiations, America will be auctioned off in no time, and we'll all go bankrupt here. I actually heard today how one of your Congress buddies said, I think we need to intervene in tariff negotiations. Seriously? You're going to teach me how to negotiate?
Rumor has it that not only politicians but also big American bosses are angry with Trump. They are also suffering losses. A rift is said to have even formed between him and Elon Musk, who, as the media writes, tried to dissuade the president from tariffs, but unsuccessfully. They only managed to negotiate a small break, which will allow others to demonstrate their submission to Washington. But if even friends can't stop Trump's assertiveness today, then the Brussels upstarts should prepare for the worst. Finding new allies when you've quarreled with everyone will be very difficult. And that means they'll have to show unprecedented flexibility